Hey there, guys. You are listening to the Grow Daily podcast, and I am your host, Piyush Agarwal. Welcome to the 35th episode of this series. Yes, we are going strong and we are not stopping anytime soon. Today's episode is going to be quite interesting and something that I struggle with a lot. We are going to talk about delegation. Now, delegation is something that comes naturally to a lot of people. If you are one of them, great job. You are really lucky because delegation is one of the most important steps to ensure that your company grows. Because only when you trust people to do their job and add to the overall workforce will you be able to grow and think about the company's future. Now, if it is something that doesn't come naturally to you, that you have struggled in the past with, worry not. Art of delegation can be learned. You can practice it every other day and get better at it. While, just like sales, someone can be a natural at it, it is a skill that can be acquired. Let's start talking about why you should be delegating and how it is important for your growth. Because on this podcast, we are all about growing your business. We talk about ways that you can keep growing consistently every single day. I share tips, tricks, tools, and even my thoughts that will help you in your growth journey. If you're a small medium business owner or just getting started or a solopreneur or just have a side hustle, you can still leverage these episodes to help grow your business. Now, delegation really means that we are handing over some of the tasks that are important, crucial for our businesses to someone else. These may be tasks that you have been doing from day one because let's get real. We cannot start hiring people from day one. We need to build something on our own. As the business starts growing, as the challenge becomes bigger and there are more pressing problems to take care of, you need to make sure that you are clearing your plate from tasks that do not need your skills at all anymore. That can be done better by somebody who has the right kind of skills or can acquire them. Only when you have more time on your hand can you start thinking strategically. Can you start looking at the bigger picture and start thinking of the way forward? How can you grow your business 10 times, 20 times? What do you need to do to think beyond the ways that you have been employing today? So, in order for growth to happen, you need to have the mind space to think, how can you grow your company? And you cannot be doing that if you are still running around couriering those packages to make sure they reach your customers on time, or you're still printing the address labels, or you're still sending campaign emailers for marketing. You need to ask yourself if the task that you are doing can be assigned to someone else, can it be delivered in the same way or even in a better way by someone else. If the answer comes yes, then go ahead and delegate that task. Now, while I may have made it sound really simple, I know it's not simple. At least for me, it's not that simple. Running my theater company, we have a big team. We have a team who take care of the sets, the production, the ticketing, the marketing, and several other things. However, it wasn't easy for us to start delegating those tasks to those individuals. Initially, when we were just the co-founders, we would take up the task and get them done. And over time, we have got good at it. We could do these things pretty quickly and also know what's the right way to go about it. So most of the time, instead of just delegating or asking somebody else to do it, we would end up doing those things on our own without realizing how much time and energy we are spending on things that can be delegated. It did not come easy to me at all. It took a lot of effort to start trusting others to complete a task. Initially, it also felt like that I was spending more time in training somebody else to do the task than what I would have if I would have just done the task on my own. However, this thinking is backward thinking because this will never let you let go that task. And that's the reason I called delegation as a work of art. Something that you need to practice and get creative and better at. Something that you need to think outside the box to make sure that you are using your time and resources in the best way possible without making them feel that they are overworked or they are doing things that don't matter. So let me talk about a few things that I feel is important to learn the art of delegation. The first thing is you need to delegate the right tasks. Of the gazillion things you do, you shouldn't be picking tasks just based on how you feel about doing them. Yeah, there may be things that you don't like doing, like company taxes, but that's something that you cannot really delegate to someone else. You can hire an accountant, but you will still have to be quite involved in making sure that your taxes are getting calculated and submitted in the right way. There are a lot of other things that do not need you to be present in order to have them completed. These can be around logistics, around management of tasks, around deliveries, around marketing, and many other areas. You need to identify where you are spending most of your time today and ask yourself if it's a task that can be done by somebody else. And if it can be done by somebody else, who is it going to be? Another important aspect is you should pick the tasks to delegate that are not one time. Tasks that can be learned by someone and they can completely take over those tasks. You can actually create workflows around them and make sure everybody knows where they fit in that workflow and when do they have to take up the task and complete it. That way you're not spending your time and somebody else's time in doing something that could have been done by one person in the first place. So make sure the tasks that you choose can be added to the current workflows and they require the people to be engaged in over and over again. If there is a one-time task that will demand a lot of time for you, make sure you take your decision based on how much time will you have to spend if you delegate that task. If the savings are monumental, go ahead and have somebody else do it. The next step to master the art of delegation is to hire right. You need to make sure that you are assigning tasks to people who actually will be encouraged and excited about doing them, who can see that doing those tasks will actually help them in their career and help them grow as an individual. Make sure that you're assigning the task to the right people. If you don't have those people today, hire right and make sure that they can do those tasks. Do not just go ahead and assign something to someone who is not interested in it or would not be capable of doing it. You need to make sure that the tasks are assigned to people who would be motivated in future to have them completed or have them done. They may not have the skills to do it today, but they should be eager to learn it and know where will it take them. Only then will they be excited about doing them over and over again. The next one and the most important aspect is you need to be a teacher and not the employer. Now, as an employer, because we already have been doing something, we feel that the other person is not doing their job well. Usually we equate time equals to money, and you may lose your patience if you feel that somebody is taking longer than they should have. You need to start thinking like a teacher. Because not every student is the same, you need to figure out how someone consistently grows and learns to do that task, how they can get better at it, and how they start applying their mind. Like the famous saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. You need to start teaching people on how they can complete those tasks and get better at it. You need to be patient while they are learning and figuring their way out. As human beings, we always tend to do the things that we know first and then move to the more difficult tasks. And that's exactly what will happen when somebody picks up a new task and starts doing it. They may be behind because they are completing the other tasks that they are more confident doing, and they would be under prioritizing these new tasks that have been added to their plate. You make sure that they understand the prioritization aspect and how important the task that they have been assigned to is. If that's not that high priority, then you should have the patience to make sure that they will pick it up and learn. Also, you need to do a self-check to make sure that you are not micromanaging, that you're not following too many times, and you actually show the employee that you trust them to complete the task. You would like to track the progress, so put in smart tools, put in processes that will help you do that. Something like a Trello board can be a great tool that you can add to your workflow. It will help you track the progress of tasks without having to ask people and seem like you are interfering. So make sure that you figure out what works best for your team and lets you figure out the progress on things without being an interference. The last piece of advice that I have is to start trusting and having faith in the people once you delegate the task. A lot of times we don't trust that people are really doing a good job or they care about the tasks that have been assigned. If you have followed the other 4 steps well enough, then you will notice that people do care about the task that they are assigned and they are excited about it and they will end up doing it. They should know what the priorities are, they should know when the things are expected to be done, and they should be aware of what it will take to complete the task. If there is a certain amount of education required, you should be there to guide them to be the mentor that they need. So trust that they will do the task and have faith in them that they will be able to get ahead and be better at it. They may take some time to learn the task, they may struggle through it, they may ask your help more often than you would have liked, but over time it will all get better because they will master it and they may start doing it better than what you would have imagined. So trust people, have faith in them, and you will see that your delegation is helping you grow your company by 10-folds in no time. Now, those were some tips that I had to master the art of delegation. However, I know that there are many more ways to do it better than what I am suggesting. So if you have been following something that has helped you in the art of delegating, please share it with me because I would love to try out new ways of delegating and also share my experience with all of you listeners. To write to me, you can just drop a mail at hello@piyushagarwal.com. That is PIYUSHAGARWAL.com. And that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you found this topic helpful. This is a big one, and if you can master this, trust me, there's nobody who can stop you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have been listening to the Grow Daily podcast. My name is Piyush Agarwal, and I'll see all of you tomorrow.